Hey, good morning, everybody. John here with FNP Wargamers. This is the FNP Morning Show. I've not been doing Tuesday shows, but since we're all on lockdown or about to be on lockdown, like here in Houston, Harris County, we just got word that it'll be shelter in home or shelter in place, whatever the terminology is, starting at 11:59 p.m. tonight, Tuesday. Until April 3rd, which is, I think, next Thursday, maybe? Oh, gosh, that's next Friday. Not this coming Friday, but next Friday. Ugh. Well, besides doing essential stuff. So I'm going to probably be doing a daily show as I look for a new job in this environment and in this craziness that's going on. And since I have a lot of free time, and most of you do too, so nothing like a captive audience to talk about this with. Okay, so today we do have a bunch of news to cover today, so I'm not really going to be covering any game material, any rules, that sort of thing today, guys and gals. We're going to cover a bunch of news. Some of it's kind of like showing you a little bit more how serious things are getting. So we're going to cover a bunch of news, and then after I cover all that news, we're going to jump into the speculation of what we're going to be seeing this Saturday and the following Saturday on the 4th. So let's dive right into it. First up I want to talk about is Free League Press. It's an RPG company over in Finland, Sweden, Switzerland, not Switzerland. It's a Finnish company. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it. Norway, something. Anyways, I always get it wrong. They put out a bunch of fantastic games like the Alien RPG, which is probably one of the scariest, most lethal to player character type RPGs out there, just like you expect from the movies. And I'm waiting for it to pop up on the screen again here. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a full review of the RPG Tales from the Loop. Right there on the screen, just right now, Tales from the Loop. Give it a look over. One of the reasons why we're going to be covering that is because in a few, I think next week or the week after, the Amazon Prime series, TV series, is going to be up about Tales from the Loop. It's I don't know if it's episodic or if it's a full drama, how many episodes or anything yet. I haven't looked fully into the details on it. So we're going to cover that RPG. Now, why is that also important? Is because of, hey, Epion, the reason why I'm also going to cover Tales from the Loop right now, or tomorrow, the RPG tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the movie series, watch the trailer all together. I also wanted to mention that Free League or Free, I can't pronounce it in its native language, but Free League for English version. They've announced that right now, for a limited time on Drive-Thru RPG, that you can get any of their core books for any of their games right now at 50% off digital download. Because they're not able to ship anything out, and they usually ship things out through Modifius. But right now, with the global shutdown, essentially, they aren't doing that. So they've opened their doors, so to speak, or they're cutting us a break, giving us 50% off digital copies. Some of these games are really good. Some of them, like Forbidden Lands, not that great. Alien RPG, terrifying to play. Even terrifying thinking how you're going to run it. The Tales from the Loop, which I said we're going to cover tomorrow, and their Mutant Year Zero, I haven't looked too much into, but looks cool. The other one that's on here, I'm waiting for it to roll back around because I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I'm seriously going to recommend that you look into because you might enjoy it, unless I already covered it. Oh no, Symborum. If you like, they're right there. Symborum, whatever. If you like a dark fantasy game that is really challenges the players and the characters and is pretty damn lethal, not like Dungeons and Dragons where you have all sorts of chances of being resurrected and healed and everything else. This is a very deadly game. A very deadly, not as I would put it on basically like a fantasy version of Aliens, if you will. It is very, very, very deadly for players. So, anyways, I wanted to bring that up to you guys because I wanted you to be able to see that a lot of companies out there are doing things. They're going to be putting out a lot of special deals like this. So, just something to pay attention to. If you're interested. I mean, with 50% off some of these titles over on Drive-Thru RPG, I mean, some of these books are like $50 normally in hardback, $25 digital. So now you're getting them for like $12.50. So there's really no reason to get them unless you don't play RPGs. But if you're interested, especially if you've got family members, small children, or maybe adolescent children, wife, and everything, you guys like to play games, I'm really going to highly recommend, especially tomorrow after I cover Tales from the Loop, get Tales from the Loop. You will not be disappointed. Okay, so enough about that. Grandpa Strange asks, are you going to live stream playing any of these? It is definitely something we've been considering. I'm trying to find the right group. I've got multiple RPG groups, and some people, and I'm not going to say who of these two different groups that I run, some of them I would love to have on screen. Others, they're very disruptive, and they're going to do whatever they can just to be... they're not very good they're not good for a group dynamic, so I'm gonna have to pick and choose. But yeah, that is definitely something now that we've got a Discord channel that I'm setting up, and how we're gonna be able to stream from home. In fact, we're trying to scramble right now. We're working out the logistics this week of figuring out how to live stream the couple RPGs. We're trying to figure out which RPGs, who's going to be running it, what kind of graphics. So we're kind of scrambling to do this. But once we got it, we're going to announce it. So hopefully by the end of this week, or even before the end of this week, we're going to announce it. And whether it will be one of those games, Grandpa Strange, or not, I don't know. We're interested in running that Ultramodern 5 that I did a review on last week. So we'll see. Did you do a show on Marvel Crisis Protocol in the archives? Do you mean a miniature, like a battle report, Cuddle Bunny? Or are you just talking about the review of any of the new miniatures or stuff coming out? What do you mean? All right, so I'm waiting for Cuddle Bunny to respond. Anyways, check out Drive-Thru RPG for those free league games. It's really cool that they're doing this. All right, so we just got word today that Games Workshop is shutting down the factory, shutting down their offices right now because the UK has gone on lockdown, either right now or they have a timeline before lockdown starts. Boris Johnson jumped on there and announced that, I think, late last night or early this morning. I'm not sure how the time zone thing works. So what that means for you is that until April 13th, probably whatever product got shipped out yesterday, that's it. Not distribution centers aren't getting anything. Your local game stores won't be receiving anything new just yet. That does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that you can't go to your local game store and help them out, because your friendly local game store, like Atomic Hobby Shop, Eden Games and Hobbies, Asgard Games, Gold Mine, and Fat Ogre Games and Comics, Dragon's Lair, Game Castle out in Austin. All these guys, they need our support. So I'm not saying go to their stores and play, because you can't, but at least go to their store, get yourself some hobby supplies, some game supplies, get some miniatures. If you don't have stacks of miniatures right now that are waiting for you to build and paint, like a lot of you probably do, sitting in your closet or in your game room or whatever, go to the store, pick up a project. This is a great time to do it, because you have plenty of time to build and paint your models while you listen to me run my mouth. I'm going to take a drink of coffee. Excuse me. So, Cuddle Bunny, I wanted to bring up, I am going to be doing probably tomorrow morning, unless some big news happens. I'm probably going to be doing a show that specifically targets Marvel Crisis Protocol. Thursday morning, I was looking at talking about Infinity, because Infinity over at Corvus Belli, they're about ready to launch some stuff for new players to get into, and I think they're about ready to come out with their new edition for the game. So I wanted to cover that, and then Friday morning would be normal GW news. So I want to be able to cover all that for you guys. Now, what does this bunker down mean for you and the big reveals that would have happened at Adepticon and would happen on Twitch and Warhammer community page? From what I am reading right now, from what I'm understanding, is that Games Workshop is intending to still launch their Warhammer TV stuff and Warhammer community stuff from their homes. So as far as we know, everything is still going to happen as planned. They're going to be doing everything from home. They got all their resources to launch from home. So just pay attention to all their different feeds. The Warhammer community page will still be updated. There'll probably be news on their Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter. And as I get information, I'm going to pass it on to you guys as well. I don't do too much Twitter, but now I'm going to just have that extra little edge on information coming out. So that's just something to pay attention to. As far as we know right now, everything is still going to go as planned of the big reveal. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm not going to be covering any of the rules updates, because I think there was some information about Necromunda and the old world. There's some speculation on this new weapon here. So I'm not going to be covering that. I just wanted to be able to talk about what we're going to be seeing. Well, basically what we're going to speculate is going to be happening on this Saturday, the 28th, and then the following Saturday, April 4th. Now, as I also get some more game news coming in, because a lot of companies, especially over in the UK, some of the Polish companies, Spanish companies, and at least one company in Germany that does bits and upgrade kits and all that kind of stuff for miniature games, and a couple UK ones like Anvil Industries and such. They suspended operations. So we're going to cover that and how that community, how that impacts the community itself. So, but I'll cover that probably tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. So let's get on with our speculations. First up, let's cover the big ones. So this is for the March 28th, April 4th, big reveal, speculation. I didn't even know how to word it. So just bear with me with it being a little wordy. So for Warhammer 40,000, as I take a drink of coffee, you can see that we got a list of things that a lot of the rumors, a lot of the forecasting, a lot of the speculation is talking about. Same thing with Age of Sigmar, not as much, but it's still significant. So let's cover Warhammer 40,000. I'm going to show you a couple more graphics here in just a moment. So bear with me. I want to be able to talk about the Primaris Landspeeder, the Primaris Bikers, and the Primaris Melee units. Now, all three of these are technically rumors until we see them 100% in a picture, and GW is like, hey, here is your new product. Now, with that being said, we know that these have been produced. We know that playtesters have delved into them. We've talked about it on this show before. It's been many months since I've talked about it, but I want to be able to cover it again. I'm going to show you a graphic here in just a minute. So I put those three at the top because they are the 100% most likely of the speculations that we're going to see. Next up is Chaos Primarchs. Now, it's very likely that Fulgrim is going to be the first of the Chaos Primarchs. I put Angron on there because it's always a possibility that they will do a bait and switch with us. They've done stuff like this before, so I just wanted to be able to at least put something on there just in case they do. I think we will see Angron within the next 2 years. I just don't think we're going to see him right now. Very likely Fulgrim is it. Now I think there's a tiny possibility. Hey, good morning, Nam. There's a tiny possibility that this whole Fulgrim story might get a big twist. So just be ready, because we know that there's a non-demon possessed version of Fulgrim running around out there, or I think he was captured by Trazon or whoever the pack rat hoarder is for the Necrons. We know that I think he got captured by him or sold off to him or whatever. So we know that there is a good and non-demonic Fulgrim out there. So remember that, because we might see that later on in the future. But more likely we'll get the big old nasty scary demon Primarch. All right, and so for Loyalist Primarchs, we might get a double sneak peek of this. We know that there was going to be another Loyalist Primarch. Likely the biggest candidate is Lionel Johnson from the Dark Angels. He is the most likely because we know exactly where he's at. He is in the rock. He's asleep. Been taking a very, very long nap. So he's very likely going to be the one. But Games Workshop can do the bait and switch. Lehman Russ could pop out of the warp, being all wolfened out, and he could return because the 13th Company, the Wolfen, have already returned. We could see Jakati Khan because we know that he went into the warp after the Dark Eldar, after they messed up his home world or home star system. Vulcan could return, and Dorn could return. Who's definitely not going to return, as at least right now, is Ferrus Manus and Sanguinius. Though you never know, they could always retcon, hey, they're back, look at us, we're clones or whatever. But very likely the Lion or the Wolf, Lionel Johnson or Lehman Russ, are very likely what I'm predicting, what I'm speculating we're going to see first. Now, whether we're going to see it at the big reveal or not, I don't know. This is just me speculating. We know the Engine War is already coming, just like War of the Spider. However, what we don't know is what is coming in those books. Engine War is very likely we're going to see those. I think it's 3 new units for the Adeptus Mechanicus. So 3 new units. I think it's three new units. There was the Jump Pack unit. There was the Cavalry unit. I think there was one other unit. Oh, the Flyer. Okay, I gotcha. Epion said, don't think there will be an old world reveal. As they said, that is years away. They're giving out smaller articles on it. True, they might. I'm just saying, I'll get to that in a moment. Anyways, Engine War reveals. I think we're going to see those 3. And we might see, since there are going to be 4 factions in there, it is likely we're going to see one other model, probably from the Chaos faction, that will probably not the knights, but likely be a new sort of demon, maybe a demon character. Or they might not even do anything for the demon side, and they might do, hey, besides the Adeptus Mechanicus, Knights, here's a new character. I don't know. We might not even see any other new models besides the Mechanicus models. Or the Spider reveals, it's all over the place because right now we now have a lot more, pretty much 100% confirmation that it's going to be revolving around Fabius Bile. Once again, though, that could be a bait and switch. But it's just something to think about is that there's also the Warp Spiders that have been talked about in the Psychic Awakening books. And we've also talked about the Necron Spider guy. I don't remember if he was a Satan or if he was just an Overlord or Lord or whatever. So this could be a weird multi-faction battle. So it's a very strong possibility. We're going to see more. We're going to get a lot more detail on War of the Spider. Epion, next wave of tomes and endless spells are possible and would love new campaign books for Sigmar. I agree. The other thing is, with all this coming out, is the new edition information is very possible. This would be about the time that they're going to want to start building up the buzz about it and say, hey, new edition, Age of whatever for Warhammer 40,000 is going to come out. And then we'd get a bigger reveal at the end of their fiscal year in May. And then we'd probably go a few months. And then after the last Psychic Awakening book, probably in July, we'd probably get the first reveals of the new edition. That would probably drop, if it is going to happen, in August or September. Do we know for sure? No. Is it possible? Yes. Very probable. It's probable and possible. And that would probably involve the Emperor's Children. Now, we also have been hearing some new information about, or not new information, the past year, a lot of the rumor mongers have been getting little snippets that 1 to 2 new factions, I've talked about this before, 1 to 2 new factions are going to be dropping. I think one of the highest likely ones is the Dark Mechanicus being one of the factions, because they've been getting some newer models here and there, especially from Blackstone Fortress, little snippets like, hey, here, let's talk about the Dark Mechanicus a little bit more. Hey, don't forget about these guys. Don't forget about these guys. So I think that they're kind of on the periphery. They're talking about it, trying to get it into our mindset, and then they're going to reveal it. One of the other new factions was a possibility of a brand new faction, brand new race. This is going to be this race or this faction is going to be heavy on psychic weapons, psychic abilities. Pretty much I would consider every unit being psychic in the same aspect as Grey Knights, with the exception they're not going to be probably Marines. They're going to be something a little bit more Guardsman like. I don't know if they're going to be Imperial, Chaos, or Xenos. There is some talk that the old ones could be returning, and the old one, I've talked about that, the old ones could be the new race, the new faction. Now, of that, after talking to a couple people, one of those new factions could also be the Ynnari getting their full codex with their new models. I've talked about that last year, and I think actually the year before that book from a very reliable source that was done, that was not going to be revealed until all the miniature designs were done. So that means from concept art to rules to the actual models being made and approved, and then production being built up. So that could be one of those 2 new factions. So there could be 1 to 3 new factions that we're going to be getting probably in the next year or two. We might see something here. Now that sounds like an awful lot, and I realize that. But all we can do right now is kind of speculate. I mean, we're being like the weatherman that has no idea. I could be like that. I think it's a Mexican weather girl, incredibly awesome figure. I think she's the most popular, hottest weather woman out there. I'm not going to get on a blue band with a green screen and to start in a mini skirt for you guys to talk about this stuff. But I have no idea where I was going with that. That just popped in my head. Oh, I was pretty much trying to forecast what's going to be coming. So before I get on to Age of Sigmar releases, let me put up this graphic because I want to talk about the Primaris Landspeeder, Primaris Bikers, and the Primaris Melee units. We've talked about it before. This image is not new, and there is really no better image. I've tried cleaning the image up, and I've just ruined it. So I'm going to put the image up, see if I can blow it up a little bit. You guys have probably all seen this image dancing around the internet. Take a good long look. I'm going to drink some coffee, and then we'll continue on with this. Oh man, I love coffee. Okay, so let's talk about some of these images here. So in the upper right hand corner, I don't know if you can right below reveal and speculation here on the screen where my cursor is, you can see 3 bike size models. Now, could these guys be the original bikers? Yes, they could be the original bikers. However, it's very unlikely. These bikes, I'm going to see if I can pull up the image. I might have to upload it real quick here. First off, we're going to point out that these bikes are on the newer bike bases. I think these are 50 by 75 or 90 or something like, or not 90, but 50 by 70. It's the newer bike / cavalry bases. Another thing is you can see the shoulder pad right where the cursor is right here, the chest, the head, and pretty much no back seat, no back part of here. I forget what they call that. The whole wheel chassis, everything about this, the front end looks a lower profile, armored on the sides, unlike the current Space Marine bikes. So I would say this is probably about 90% chance of being a legit brand new Primaris bike. Do I have proof that it's a 100% legit Primaris bike? No. But as always, we're talking about rumors. So I'm going to put up another graphic. This is very similar to the artwork that I received about a year and a half ago. Once again, I can't put up the artwork, so I can't let the guy get in trouble. But as you guys will see on here, these are Primaris Space Marine bikes. You can see that the profile is a little different. Hopefully you can see that the profile is a little different. And we've got the earlier, this could just be an artist's interpretation of the earlier repulsor. These could be the earlier designs for the repulsors. Now, do we know 100% that these are Primaris bikers? No, but it's definitely a new style of bike. And this is the first indication. Now, some of the artwork that's been seen out there but can't be revealed because you will literally give away the artists and the designers and get them in trouble. I can talk about it right now and not, I could just be blowing smoke up your ass. Excuse my language, but I can speculate about now and nobody can prove otherwise. So it's a good possibility that is the earlier designs for the Primaris bikers. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now on top of these Primaris bikers, which very high chance it is the Primaris bikers, but you always have to take into that account that it might be just a blurry picture of the regular Space Marine bikers. Unlikely, but possible. The next thing we wanted to talk about was the right here, big red model right here in the center, this this new version of a land speeder, or we're assuming it's a new version of a land speeder. It's a lot larger and it's more it's got a weird or up armored, sorry. It's got a pilot thing up here. I'm not sure. It looks like the pilot would sit up here or near the bottom of the screen here, because you can see kind of a cockpit right there. But it also looks like there is spots right here where there's 2 pilots, possibly even a third up here, just because it looks like it's a Blood Angel design, and those are the kind of like the yellow helmets that you'll sometimes see on the Blood Angels. Could be wrong about that. once again, we're trying to speculate on a blurry picture, so you have to bear with me on that one. But it definitely does not look like a conversion. Everything about this looks purposeful. Could be still a conversion. The thing that concerns me is these kind of look like missile launchers, like probably a new form of Typhoon missile launchers. I'm sure they're going to give it some weird name like they always do. What concerns me is that they're pointed inward an awful lot. And if that is a cupola and a pilot or whatever is poking his head out, because that's what it looks like right there, that is, it can't be too safe to have these missile launchers right there. I don't know what that is. It's going to be interesting to see what this is. If it ends up being, is this a transport? Are these guys right here in the center? Is this kind of like a very similar to the Scout Bus, the Landspeeder Storm, but now it's like a Primaris version of that, and it's can transport a small 5-man squad, probably like Reaver, people in Phobos armors like Reavers, Infiltrators, and Incursors across the board. Is that what this is? Is it just an up-armored flying transport? It is. I seriously doubt it is the Overlord. That is the Thunderhawk equivalent for the Primaris. So, I mean, that should be obvious that it's not it. One of the other things we wanted to mention was this Dreadnought here. Some people have speculated that this is a new type of Dreadnought. They've been saying that the current Primaris Redemptor Dreadnought looks different, and I can agree. This one looks a little taller. It looks like there's a possibility of a different weapon on that left arm, but it looks like the same chassis, the same storm bolters or whatever right here on the chest, and this looks like the plasma weapon, that plasma cannon that he has. Some people are like, oh, it's like a double plasma. I'm like, no, this plasma over here, I'm pretty sure this is a Space Marine Primaris Inceptor with the plasma exterminators over here. So, and then the other one, people are saying it right down here in the bottom right hand corner. This is a new type of melee Space Marine, Primaris Space Marine, that these are 40 millimeter bases. I disagree. It's possible, but I'm disagreeing. It looks like this one's holding a bolter, and same with this one. This might be that Primaris Intercessor where they're feeding a magazine in there. I don't think it's a new melee, but I want to at least talk about it. So are we going to see this reveal on either this Saturday or the following Saturday? No idea. I hope so. So let's get on to Age of Sigmar reveal. And if you guys just joined, you can read over the Warhammer 40,000 I just covered. I do have more speculation after this page. I just want to be able to talk about it. Finish talking about this. So Lumineth full line release, definitely a possibility. I'd say it's very likely that we're going to see the full line. Now the next wave of updated battle tomes. The only thing I'm talking about with this is there are some of those earlier updated battle tomes with the new Age of Sigmar graphic and everything that popped out when Soul Wars was revealed in not last year, but 2018. Yeah, 2018, I believe it was. And those first couple of battle tomes are a little, I don't want to say dated, but they're a little bit behind the power curve, I would say. So there's a possibility that they will get some battle time, especially as I'm trying to do my research on these. Ski would be able to do a much better job. But any of those battle tomes, those factions that do not have endless spells yet, or they are like the oldest factions that need some update, I believe the Maggotkin of Nurgle, I don't think they've got their endless spells. I think they're a possibility, but I think they came out they got redone last year. Or they at least had their start collecting box last year. So who knows if this is going to happen, but I believe it's likely, and we might see the first of those battle tomes. Good morning, Texas Wargamer. New endless spells. I could very easily see this alongside with the new campaign book, because when Age of Sigmar first dropped, we got our endless spells. I think it was the Malign Sorcery, and then after that, they had the next version, or I might be getting those mixed around. They had the next version for Soul Wars that was new, and then everybody else has been getting their own endless spells. It is definitely a strong possibility that we will get alongside a new campaign book this year, even though one just dropped out over the fall. or the winter time, that we might be getting the first sneak peek of the next campaign book, probably late summer, early summer, late summer, maybe even fall, and new endless spells to go along with that campaign book. So yeah, it is kind of a wish list, Texas Wargamer. Epion says Megakin, DOK are the ones I think need new tomes. What's DOK? Death. Oh boy, I can't think of what DOK is. Sorry, man, I can't think of what DOK is. I'm still trying to get familiar with Age of Sigmar, and I've been behind the power curve, and I'm really sorry about that. That's my bad. So I'll wait till he tells me what DOK is. Oh, Daughters of Cain. Yes, Daughters of Cain. Daughters of Cain, and I think Demons could probably use that too. I don't know if they have endless spells, so that would be awesome. I'm gonna take a drink of coffee, and we're gonna talk about Sigmar. Now, this is another speculation, and it's way out there, and I think it kind of got spawned by the fact that Nagash is a deity, Oriel or Ariel, whatever, for the Sylvaneth is a god, and that my hated nemesis Teclis is now a god, and they're all getting models for the game. There is some weird speculation, and I think it's just spawned from this, but we might be seeing a Sigmar model or an avatar of Sigmar hit the tabletop. It's way out there, but I had to at least talk about it. Will it happen? I don't know, man. I don't know enough to where I can predict like I can with Warhammer 40,000. That's a lot easier for me to be able to predict based on sales, based on story and lore. But I want to at least pass it on to you guys that is a possibility. Yeah, Lord Croak needs one. Oh, that is true. Technically, Stormcast are his avatars, his reflection. And I think the big winged guy is, I can't think of his name, but the big giant model, he's got big wings, and he's got the little swirly stuff that keeps him kind of up in the air model-wise. All the magical energy flowing around him. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but you guys probably know which model I'm talking about, the Exemplar or I don't know. So possibility, of course, new terrain. That's a weird one. Yeah, the Celestant Prime. So possibility of new terrain. I don't know how this will play. I just put that on there because Games Workshop really loves their terrain, so it's always a possibility of new terrain. And then now we know that the old world stuff, we're not going to really see anything till like 2000 for another 2 years, another year and a half probably. But I wanted to put that on there because it's definitely a possibility that they could tease a little something, because they just teased something the other day, and that could have been one of their reveals. And they just like, we have to cut some of our stuff, so let's go ahead and start revealing it on the channel, or revealing it on Warhammer community page. So that is the main stuff for Warhammer 40,000 Age of Sigmar. But I'm not done. I am not done. So let's go to the next batch of speculation. As soon as I can get my graphics working. There we go. All right. I want to talk about specialist games and other media. So specialist games, the Necromunda Gang Codex, the next two. We've already seen 2 of them have been revealed. We know we'll have at least 2 more coming. If these sell well, I have a feeling that we're going to see all the gangs getting their codex. This has upgraded units, has all their information that's been essentially collected from all their annuals and put into gang war books into their own codex, because they love their army specific or warband specific books. They love it, and it's a great way for them to make money. Plus, as these books drops, we already know that upgrade units are coming for each of them. We've already seen the Stimmers, and I can't think of the name of it, but some sort of hunters for the Escher. The Stimmers are for the Goliaths. So we're going to see what else is coming for the other war bands. So it'll be really cool. Probably see the next Underworld's warband. This should probably be the last, I think, the last warband for Beastgrave. And then that'll probably be it until the fall when we see the next season of Warhammer Underworlds pop up. I think that'll be season 4. Heroes of Warcry. I know we had Champions of the Champions book come out for Warcry. I think we're going to see more of a heroic side. This is my prediction, that we're going to see very similar to how Kill Team got characters and elite choices. I think we're going to see more heroic characters popping up for Warcry, a new way to play Warcry, which is really a good way for you to bleed into playing just like Kill Team. It's a way for you to go from small skirmish game as you add on new units or buy new boxes to fill out new specialist choices in your kill teams or your Warcry units. And then you can you'll have so many models already. It's not that much more to buy, start collecting, and make that leap to Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000. Okay, so it's really good. Warcry, Kill Team, Underworld's really good for transitioning from the small games to the bigger ones. Really clever, GW. Probably some Middle Earth supplements, but I put that up there. It's likely that we're going to see something. I don't suspect too much right now. I think a lot of stuff is just going to get repackaged for maybe some new stuff for the coming year. But until the Amazon Prime show drops, we're not going to see anything really solid and new until then. Blood Bowl teams, there's still a couple teams that are missing. Those we'll probably get 1 or 2 reveals there. I think now that almost all the teams are out, that we are going to need to be transitioning into either a new edition for Blood Bowl, or I think we're going to go back to Dungeon Bowl. I think we're going to see the Dungeon Bowl supplement, which was literally playing in a dungeon. You had to deal, if I remember correctly, you had to deal with traps and all sorts of other things. It was a lot more grittier and brutal than regular Blood Bowl. So I think we might see, hey, Dungeon Bowl is coming back. Whether that's true or not, we're speculating, guys. Whoops, I left that on there. New edition information that was still talking about Warhammer 40,000. I forgot to edit that. My apologies. Blackstone Fortress, we'll probably see some more Blackstone Fortress. And instead of an upgrade, I think we might see the next big box for Blackstone Fortress. I would say we're going to be due. It'll been a year, over a year, I think, since came out in late 2018, I believe. Yeah, so almost 2 years. Almost 2 years since since Blackstone Fortress has come out. Well, at least a year and a half. So we might see the next extension for Blackstone Fortress. It has sold really well. Adeptus Titanicus, this is more of a wish list than anything else. I'm hoping that we'll finally see the Xenos or some other faction. Well, I guess it couldn't, maybe an actual bona fide Chaos faction, especially as we are going into the Siege of Terra finally for the Horus Heresy. But I'd really prefer that we see the Xenos factions. I really like to see the first Xenos factions. And the same thing applies to Aeronautica Imperialis factions. I think we're fine. We already know the Tau are coming. We've already got the Astra Militarum. We already know those are coming. We know that the Chaos, Necrons, and Eldar were slated also to come out for Aeronautica Imperialis. If the game sold well, it is selling well enough that they've already released 2 new factions. So very likely we're going to see one or two of those 3 factions remaining. Let's see. It's a possibility, Texas Wargamer, that we might see Space Marines for Aeronautica Imperialis, but I think they're going to be. It might end up being a seasonal thing where they're like, "Hey, once a year we're going to put out a 2 new factions and a new box, like they're doing this year. The new box being Astra Militarum and Tau Empire." Just because it is not a high selling, even though it does sell well, it is not a high selling, high demand product. so they can extend the life of this game by going, hey, here's a new year, a new box, and we'll go ahead during the course of this year give you a couple more upgrade or new planes or jets or whatever flyers for those two factions during the course of this year. And then next year, hey, guess what? We've got two new factions and two new or a whole bunch more upgrades. So that's my speculation on specialist games. I still feel like there's something I'm missing there. Not necessarily a specialist game, but I feel there was something I was talking about in a Discord channel with a couple other rumor guys and gals, and I cannot remember it off tip of my tongue. I was not even expecting to do this show today. I don't think Texas Wargamer is asking. I think they'll be looking at Battlefleet Gothic, or is that not even on anyone's radar? I don't know if it's on anybody's radar, Texas Wargamer. I have not heard anything about that. I know that the video game has done so well. I would be skeptical of it happening. If it does happen, they will release a box set probably this fall. It is definitely a possibility, but just what I can tell you that with almost 100% of surety that those people that have been asking for Epic to come back, I can almost say, this is my personal opinion, mind you, that they will not do Epic. But Battlefleet Gothic is definitely a possibility. But considering how bad that pirate game Dreadfleet sold not so long ago, and there hasn't been an overwhelming demand for Adeptus Titanicus or Aeronautica Imperialis, even though they do sell well, if they do, it'll be a limited release. Titanicus and actually Epic were two different things, and they got blended together. This Adeptus Titanicus Texas Wargamer is a different scale than the original, and the reason why they can do this and they won't do Epic, and I'll let everybody know, is they got rid of the Epic line because they finally got to a production level, to a level to where they can actually make the larger models that you are seeing in Epic, and they're making hand over fist more money, and people are able to play those large games that they were in Epic now on the tabletop with their full scale models. So doing Epic again is a step back, and it would be a profit loss for them, because most people will go, you know what, I don't want to spend $800 on a brand new 40k army and have to put all together those models. I'll spend $100 or $200 on a Epic army and play the same battle size and play faster, and I don't have to build all these crazy models. It's easier to build, easier to paint, easier to play with. So financially speaking, Epic for Warhammer 40,000, or I think Warlord or Warmaster. I think it was Warmaster for fantasy. Those games, the chances, I won't say they're impossible, but highly improbable that they will return to production. Let me check chat. Epion says, I feel Necromunda will definitely get some info. Yeah, I 100% agree. They've been really pushing for that. I feel Epion, I once again, I'm not 100% familiar with Underworlds. I've been staying away from Age of Sigmar for so long because it's fantasy, and I've been trying to just not do anything fantasy related, and I'm trying to get back in, but I feel like there's still one more kind of bestial style warband that needs to be done for Beastgrave. I could be wrong. I didn't do the research because I just wanted to get these graphics up on this show today. Tomorrow I'll do a little bit more research and we can talk about it. I feel like there is at least one more, but you're probably right. That's probably it, and we're not going to see anything else for Underworlds until later this year. The possibility of a new Warhammer Quest for the Age of Sigmar line, I agree, it's highly unlikely. Definitely it's possible, but I especially with how popular Blackstone Fortress has become and how they've seen people snagged up those kits just for the miniatures to add to their Warhammer 40,000 line. The game is fun as it's in itself. It's a great board game, but be able to use it for not only the board game but your 40k armies. I could see them redoing that for Warhammer Quest. We will see. So I want to talk about other media, and this will be it for the speculation. So since nobody's going to be attempting Depticon and all the attendees, we're going to be seeing the first episode of something. My prediction is we're going to see the first episode of Angels of Death. They're going to reveal it for us. It'll probably be the last reveal on the live blog or whatever on the 28th or on the 4th. One of those two dates, probably my guess would be April 4th. It's like, hey guys and gals, here you go. Watch and enjoy the first full episode of Angels of Death. Congratulations. Everybody gets to see it, not just the first 1,000 people at Adepticon. I think that is definitely a possibility. I don't think it'll be a teaser trailer or anything like that. I think we're going to see a full-on episode. That is wish listing also. That's speculation and wish listing and forecasting and discussing with other people the possibilities. So the other thing I think we're going to see is a sneak peek of the animated anthology, at least the 40k one. I don't know if any Age of Sigmar stuff has been blended into that. The only stills and artwork I have seen is for Warhammer 40,000, even an image that we thought might be like a Age of Sigmar decrepit scribe. Some of the information I've been reading, it seems to hint that is actually an Adeptus Ministorum or administration clerk. That's basically being like the Creeper from the Creep Show. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. I think it was Creeper was the host for the Creep Show or whatever that was. Basically, he's going to be telling us, or the Crypt Keeper. Basically, he's going to be narrating the animated anthology. So we might get more of a sneak peek. We know one of those animated anthology stories involves a Calidus assassin being hunted down by Night Lords. Whether that's the one that killed Kurz or not, I don't know. We might have a nice, lovely update on the Eisenhorn TV series. I think this is definitely a strong possibility. They might be like, hey, production has begun, even though production is probably stalled right now because of the COVID-19 and everybody being put on lockdown. But they probably have the script. They probably have the writers. I mean, they've been working on this since 2019, 18, I think 2018. Yeah. I think at least beginning of 2018, maybe the end of 2017, they've been working on this show. So it's very likely they've already got the scripts, they've already got the casting done, and we're going to get the first bit of information about it. I doubt we're going to see a trailer, but it's always a possibility. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at the trailer for Tales from the Loop. That came out of the blue. Nobody knew that was coming. It was a stealth project. And we're going to cover that RPG. We're going to talk about the trailer and I'll do my best to show, well, this is some stuff you can do in the RPG. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do with the Eisenhorn TV series, if anything. There's also talks about some Flash animation style cartoons, and I mean not full on animated cartoons, but some Flash animation is my terminology. I cannot think of the correct terminology, but not the most highest production value of animation, but more storybooks. A lot of it will revolve around this Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar adventures, the more young age books. We're going to see some Flash animation stories, probably webisodes that'll probably be like 5 to 10 minutes long. Nothing super great, but definitely a cool thing. New toy line is definitely a strong possibility. We already know that I don't think we're going to get full-on action figures like He-Man and G.I. Joe style, where you're going to have a full-on collection of models, and kids, they're going to have Hasbro TV commercials and all that jazz happening. I think it's going to be more to, well, we already know that Todd McFarlane's toys are doing the miniature or the action figures, not the ones that Bandai's doing, but a more action figure size, I guess. I think they're like the 4-inch or 5-inch tall action figures, fully posable, highly detailed. What we saw at the New York Toy Fair earlier this year was just the prototype. So it did not look highly detailed. It was just a proof of concept. So they looked good, just basic like that, a little cartoony, but those are the initial prototypes. We still have to put in all the points of articulation. They've got to put in all the other details that we are accustomed to with McFarlane toys. The great thing is, if that is the toy line coming, that those guys are going to be like $19.99. They're going to be really inexpensive to get, and if they sell well, they've already talked about doing a character series for all the different factions. Probably not the Knights. Sorry, it probably won't be any Chaos, Renegade, or Imperial Knights getting their models done, but we might see the pilots. Maybe. Who knows? The last thing is we'll probably get the first snippets for the collaboration with Marvel Comics. I've talked about this before, my concerns about Marvel Comics, because Marvel Comics, and I'll probably cover this on tomorrow morning's episode. Marvel Comics, man, they've been messing up lately. They've really gone to this whole get woke, go broke mentality. They're pandering to a tiny percentage of a subculture that doesn't really buy into the comics. They're just a vocal minority that use the cancel culture. They're the simps, whatever you want to call them, white knights. I mean, just horrible people online. And I'm afraid that they are going to attack Warhammer related stuff with Marvel Comics. So we might have to be putting out a rally call about this whenever Marvel Comics drops stuff for Warhammer 40,000, because I mean, I look at myself as being definitely liberal, and I definitely on the side of social justice, but not to the extent that we have to sacrifice good storytelling for representation, or Space Marines need to have a female Space Marine. It has to happen. No, it doesn't. Would it be cool? Maybe, but there was a reason why. I'm not going to get into too much into this right now, but I'm nervous about this collaboration, because Marvel right now has, I can't remember two of the names, but I remember one, Zoe Quinn. They have at least 3 different authors and or artists. Actually, they just hired a new one that's just, her ideas are bonkers, crazy, stupid. And this totally my opinion, but I'm worried about them because they are that get woke, that woke crowd. And it's very cringy, some of the stuff they put out, and it's actually, they've pretty much ruined the books that they joined in. Yes, Grandpa Strange says Zoe Quinn is Cancer, in my opinion. Yes, I agree. She is definitely Cancer. There's I can't remember if she's Chinese or Japanese author. She used to work at Blizzard, and then she came over. And there's one other or two others I can't think of off the top of my head. Kimberman, whatever. He's the gent that's doing the New Warriors. God, we'll talk about that tomorrow. And this other new gal that's writing the stuff for the Children of the Atom. I don't read too much comics, but I am more concerned about the industry and watching it go down, and how that industry reflects onto the gaming industry, which we all are obviously passionate about. That's what we're here talking about. So how do these people that are ruining the comic book industry, that are destroying the comics, watching their sales go down from millions of copies or issues sold to watching it exponentially drop down to less than 30,000. How does that fit into what's coming out with the collaboration with Marvel Comics and Warhammer or Games Workshop? That's what I'm concerned with. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about actually Marvel Crisis Protocol game a lot tomorrow. So there's going to be a lot tomorrow morning. I wasn't intending to do a morning show, but we're just going to do it. What the hell? And of course, tomorrow night's show for Tales from the Loop. So Let me hide this graphic. Let's see if there's any update before we log off. I hope. I don't know how you guys feel about all this stuff I've been talking about. Um, am I way off the mark, or am I hitting a little close to home? Is some of this seem legit? We'll see. We will see. Not a whole lot updated here. At any rate, we're going to cover that stuff tomorrow morning. So, just to recap before everybody logs off and I log off, tomorrow morning we're going to talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol. We're going to talk about the Get Woke, Go Broke culture. And how, or the Get Woke culture, whatever you want to call it, cancel culture, how that is possibly going to be affecting Games Workshop, our Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, and their subsequent games that are fall underneath it, but those two banner heads, how that could possibly affect it. Then in the evening, tomorrow evening, I believe it's at 7 p.m., we're going to talk about Tales from the Loop RPG. We're going to do a full review of that. We're also going to watch the trailer for the TV show and that stealth reveal. And then Thursday morning, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about something Thursday morning. And then Friday will be another, hopefully I'm going to have some information about what's going to be revealed. Hopefully some sneak peeks, hopefully something, and we're going to talk about whatever news has popped up. So you guys all have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys are washing your hands thoroughly. I mean, in the cracks all around. The social distancing, do everything we're supposed to be doing. Don't put yourself at risk. And if you don't care about your own health, at least care about the health of those around you. Do not put them at risk. Because if you put them at risk, then we're losing all of our gamers. We're losing everything. I mean, it's just be smart, be cautious. And I mean, I'm going to wash my hands even though I've been isolated for 2 weeks, over 2 weeks now. I'm going to go wash my hands because I've been touching my face. I feel gross already. Anyways, sing happy birthday 2 times when you wash your hands. Oh, very good call. You know, there's been a lot of videos of people washing their hands out there on how to properly wash their hands. Some people putting paint on their gloves and showing how they do it. Just wash your hands, folks. Watch what you're doing. Do the social distancing. Do not hoard food. Do not hoard toilet paper, you sons of... Oh, I am down to my last roll of toilet paper, and I'm extremely irate because I went to the grocery store yesterday. I couldn't find any food besides some vegan stuff, which I bought anyways. Couldn't find Spam, of all things. Spam. God dang. And no toilet paper. No toilet paper. Oh, I'm so mad. I just need just like 1 or 2 rolls. I don't care if it's 1 ply. I might have to like go to McDonald's and say, hey, can I get a stack of napkins, or go steal their roll out of their bathroom or something, because it's getting that bad. Anyways, get a bidet. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful day. Be safe. I will see you tomorrow morning. And make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe. I'm going to have this up on YouTube, so you YouTube people, hit the like and subscribe. If you guys are not subscribed to the FMP Wargamers on YouTube, jump over, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I really appreciate, guys. Also, we have a video up for Ultramodern 5. I posted a couple days ago. If you could jump over on YouTube, start watching the video and hit the like button. Maybe leave a comment if you don't mind. We're trying to get up as many votes on there, or get as many likes and views on there as possible. I want to show the creator that I appreciate him letting us do an unofficial review of it. He really liked it and it was promoted on his thing. I don't get anything out of it. I'm not getting like kickback or anything. I just want to get as many views as possible to show my appreciation to him. And it's a solid RPG. So give it a check, take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe. I will stop running my mouth. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow morning.